Welcome back to another Wheel of Time video. So we are going to continue on the religion train and do some more religious deep dives. But I know we've done Hinduism, we've done Islam, but I wanted to kind of veer away from that. And let's talk about religion and the Wheel of Time itself. Is there religion? Can you consider it religion? What do people actually believe in? Do they worship? Well, let's dive into some of the theories behind that, maybe some quasi-religions that do exist within the Wheel of Time, or at least sects or factions, and then also maybe some of the influence and some of the things actually from the creator, being Robert Jordan himself, and what he had to say about it. Because if you take interviews over time, it definitely changes his tune about what he thought about religion from in the early 90s to right before his death in the early 2000s. He definitely had changed what he thought about religion within the books. So I'll bring those up as well in this. As far as spoilers go for this video, this is going to contain pretty heavy spoilers. I know some other religious ones didn't have as much spoilers in there, just because there is some stuff from the end of the books and that I'm going to talk about. So if you haven't finished all the books, I'd probably recommend sticking away from this one, coming back after you're done. Or if you don't mind being spoiled, it's not major spoilers, but a little bit here and there. So watch at your own risk. So let's get into it. Religion in the Wheel of Time. So I'm going to start out with a quote from Robert Jordan. So we'll start in the beginning. One of the first interviews that I could find, or at least where he commented on it, or he didn't even comment, he gestured, which is, I think, awesome. So that was back in 1994, October 18th. He was at a Lord of Chaos book signing, and someone actually asked him, is there organization or organized religion in Randland? And his answer was, it was not a yes or no. It wasn't even an answer. He kind of did that whole entire, kind of, yes and no. So he didn't really have a clear answer there. Who knows if there is some interviews where he hinted to that he was going to flesh out a more organized religion towards the end. That never happened. So spoilers. If you haven't finished the books, it never really fleshes out a true religion. But let's talk about what people do believe in. And then I'll kind of go back to why there's not a religion. So let's start with the Westlands, or the wetlands, or whatever you want to call it. Everything that is west of the spine of the world, or the Dragon Wall. We're talking about Andor and Tyr and Saldea and Terraban and all those places. Falma. Yeah, everything over there in that section of the world. What do they believe in? Well, there is no organized religion. That's one thing you can see. There's no churches. There's no temples. The closest thing you can find to it maybe is the Children of Light, and I'll get to that in a second. But let's start with just what do they believe in then? So they do believe in the Creator, and they believe in the Dark One, Shaitan. So there is good and evil. There actually is some kind of religious litany that they have. So and this is vague, and I know this is a stretch, but I'm just going to read this verbatim because this is something that people do say, kind of almost as a affirmation of faith, similar to like the Nicene Creed or anything like that you might have in religion. It is the Dark One and all the Forsaken are bound in Shagul, beyond the Great Blight, bound by the Creator at the moment of creation, bound until the end of time. The hand of the Creator shelters the world, and the light shines on all of us. So that shines on us all. So that really has kind of a almost religious, like I said, cantination, or not recantation to it. Has that religious feel. So yes, they believe in a Creator, they believe in a Dark One, and that there's the light, and they believe in the pattern. So the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. The pattern, it kind of shapes, and that's kind of the mythos behind everything, is that they believe that there's this pattern that weaves people in and out of reincarnation and coming back into the world, that people are reborn. And so there's lots of religious connotations, and then we'll get right into the Children of Light. So if you want to say if there's anything that is an organized religion, it'd be the Children of Light. And basically all they are is just kind of fanaticals that want to hunt down dark friends and call pretty much everyone a dark friend. So Aes Sedai, they're all witches and dark friends because they use the one power, and the one power must be evil because they can't do it. It's kind of like that. And then anyone else that even looks at him wrong must be evil and the dark friends. Religious fanatics, I guess you can call them, with swords. That's the White Cloaks for you. They came and rose up several centuries ago as a small little group and have grown over time, consisting of a pretty large army of people throughout this part of the world. So yeah. So I want to get into why there's not organized religion a little bit. And we'll start to quote some of Robert Jordan's writings. Even a year later, in June 16th, 1995, he was asked about it again. Why is there a lack of organized religions? And he says, well, religion's been proven here. Shaitan, the Forsaken, the One Power, all are proven to exist in this world. So there's no need for a big persuasion machine of a real religion. So that was his answer in 1995 for why there's not. And then he expands on that even further. So in April 2003, he says, I believe that religion rituals, our attendance in temples and churches, or whatever, is in part a reaffirmation of our belief and strengthening our belief in something that we cannot see. But in this world, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit because it's a really long quote, but in this world, the one power can be channeled. People know of the reincarnation because they can go into Teleron Riyadh and see, people that are reborn, the heroes of the Horn and things like that. So we know that exists. It's all proven. We know the Dark One exists. It's proven. He came out and did all these things. It's proven. And then also you have the one power that was given to man from the Creator, split between male and female. That some people can use, and it's been used for over 3,000 years. So he says, in our world, if something like that happened, where God came down and gave the power of, almost of God to man, and even if it's just a select few, but if there's people walking around that can literally put their hands on you and say, you are healed in the name of God, or you can now walk in the name of God, or whatever, and your wounds just miraculously heal right up. He said organized religion would probably be gone within a generation, because there'd be no need for reaffirmation of there being a God, because there's proof that there's a God. Organized religion adds to that. We need to reaffirm what we cannot see. And this is what Robert Jordan believed in. I'm not quoting or saying that this is the right way or this would happen. I'm just repeating what he said. He believes that if there's constant proof of deities, then there's no need for organized religion. And being that the way that this religion kind of plays out, or these deities play out, there's actually no call to worship either. Whereas in the Christian, Judeo, or even Islamic, or even Hindu and different things, there are definitely calls that you must worship, you must give sacrifices and prayer offerings and things like that are dictated through the scripts. For whatever reason, this Creator, maybe the Dark One does that kind of stuff where you have to pray to me, but the Creator does not. In fact, the Creator doesn't really show up really much at all, except he does talk to Rand at one point in Eye of the World. And maybe one other time again. That's debatable. But as far as anything else, doesn't really touch the pattern or really get involved at all with anything. He created everything. It's a perfect computer that's just spitting out stuff, and the Dark One's trying to destroy that computer. And that's pretty much the struggle that goes on. Some things that did point to other rules in religious texts. In Teleron Riyadh, when we first meet Brigida, she talks a lot about precepts and that there's these rules, and that can be kind of constrained as some almost religious kind of context. Especially when you go to the Aelfin, definitely there's some religious context there too, but who really knows? But let's get away from some of these other mythology or, kind of off to the side things and go back into the real world and switch across continents to the Shanshan. Because if you want to find anywhere that's even close to having a religion, it's the Shanshan, and having a religion of worshiping a leader. If you want to talk about worshiping, the Empress, may she live forever. They do things that are very, very similar to old, like Greek and mythological religions, Greek and Roman, such as reading signs and things like that, which definitely goes into paganism as well. There's a lot of animalistic tribal religions that still do that. I know when I was spending some time in Malaysia and I was hiking through in the Cameron Highlands up there, there's still a lot of tribes that live out there and still hunt with blow darts. I got to shoot some in a tribal village. It's really cool. But they're talking about at nighttime when they go out, they hear different animal sounds, and the shamans will interpret those in different ways and prophesize and things like that. So what the Shanchan are doing happen in real, even if they're not major world religions, but they happen in smaller religions all over the world, and that's definitely an ancient religion thing, at least in modern. When you talk about the Western cultures, if you go back to Greek and Roman, there were things like that, like the oracle of Delphi and things of that nature, where how many birds were in the sky this morning says whether we're going to win the battle this afternoon. Yeah, so that's definitely things like that. Now, as far as like the Dark One and the Creator not really coming, of course, at the very end, Rand does meet the Dark One. And has a long, philosophical battle with him, almost mentally like a chess game, going back and forth on what ifs. But I would argue they both send messengers or have voices for them. The Dark One being, Shadar Haran, the giant fade that is different from the rest of them, which actually I think translates in Old Tongue to Hand of the Dark. So, and then I would, and this is going to be controversial, I would argue that Nakomi is the counterpart to that on the light side from the Creator. Who knows who Nakomi actually is, but I always like to think that maybe it's kind of like the counterpart, the yin and the yang. If there's going to be a Shadar Haran, there has to be a light side one, and that's Nakomi. Of course, she doesn't interact nearly as much as the Dark One servant does, but of course, the Dark One's trying to do more than the light, than the Creator is. The Creator's really taking a seat back and not wanting to influence anything, whereas he's directly trying to change everything. So, and that also might go into that dualism as well. So I know I'm talking about 10 minutes now about all sorts of different things. Let me know if there's anything I missed or anything from religion in the Wheel of Time that you can think of. I know I just kind of briefly went over everything. The Aiel, again, that's another culture. It's very similar to the Westlands. I was going to touch on that a little bit, but there's not really any religion per se. Like I said, that I think it goes back to what Robert Jordan was thinking. If they already know of a deity, or deities, if you want to consider the Dark One a deity, the Creator and the Dark One, and there's proof everywhere. It's constantly being proven over and over again. There's no need for reaffirmation. And that's the argument that Robert Jordan made and the reason why organized religion doesn't exist. So, like I said, leave your thoughts, your comments. Let me know what you think about all this. Let me know what you think about Robert Jordan's ideas of religion in general. I keep it civil, as always. There's no need to get all huffy puffy and in a fight about things, but just, remember this is a fictional world. It's all just make believe anyway. So this is not applied to real world at all. And I'm not bashing and saying any religion is wrong and that, religions would just go away. That's not what I'm arguing at all. I'm just talking about Randland. So leave some comments, like and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything I missed, and also let me know if there's any other religions or anything like that you want me to cover. I'm happy to look into it. I have a long list, so it might already be on my list, but who knows? I've had a few people actually make suggestions already. I'm like, I didn't think of that one. So keep them coming. Be happy to look into anything. So until next time, guys, peace.